G'day, it's Shane here from Wine and Grape TV, and thank you for joining me in my home bar. More importantly, thank you for helping me spread McLaren Vale wines to the world. Now, I've said that, and today, it's not McLaren Vale wine. I've got something very exciting. Exciting for me because it's a first for me, and it's exciting because I'm actually tasting off two wines that have a very similar history, shall we say. So, the new variety now, I've got to put my glasses on to make sure I get this right. Gruner Veltliner, or Gruner. So I've got the K1 by Geoff Hardy, and I've got the Handcrafted by Geoff Hardy. The 2013, both from 2013, both from the same vineyard, both bottled about 2-3 weeks ago. Now the K1 is the crisp, supposedly, because I haven't tried it yet, the crisp style, and the Handcrafted by Geoff has allowed Shane Harris, the winemaker, to funk it up a little bit, and there's some oak treatment, there's some lees aging, stirring up the lees and things like that, to give it what I suspect will be an interestingly different mouthfeel, yeah, just a totally different wine. Now, same vineyard as I mentioned before. They actually picked about 2 weeks apart, but the Beaumay was very similar. The Beaumay was less than, was about 0.2 or 0.3 Beaumay difference between the two. So, what I also suspect is that the one that was picked later, which was the Handcrafted, will have a very different acid structure to the one that was picked earlier. So, let's kick off and do the wanky thing. And because it's the crisper style, we'll go with the K1 option first. Now, just by smelling this, if this is classical Gruner Veltliner, I'm in. This there's some interesting florals, crisp apples. There's some tropical fruits in there, a bit of melon. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this is the this variety comes from Austria, and I don't believe there's that many vineyards growing this in Australia at the moment. I know of at least 5 vineyards that have it. Quite complex, a lot going on here. The wine is quite cold, but I'm getting quite a lot of aromas off this one. Mouth salivating, wanting more, so let's keep going. That's very nice. Very nice. Nice acid on there, but it's not like a lot of Rieslings that it's like, you know, cutting your tongue sharpness of acid. Certainly not that, but the acid's there. Certainly apple. But I'm not getting like the Granny Smith apple, the green apples. Getting more like a Fuji or a Pink Lady apple, so a little bit more complex. Certainly a lot of length. A lot of floral characters. So I suspect this is similar to Riesling, and maybe that's why it does well in the cooler climates. By the way, cooler climates I didn't mention. K1 vineyards up in the Adelaide Hills just above McLaren Vale, so technically not McLaren Vale wine today. but I'm certainly not ashamed of that, particularly the quality of this wine. So we'll try the handcrafted one now, which, as I mentioned before, has had a reasonable proportion of the wine. It's gone through some barrel aging and you know, the stirred lees thing happening, stuff like that. So I'm expecting a very different mouthfeel. But before we do that, let's see what the nose says. Wow, two very different wines. The aromas on this are more restrained. Maybe it's a little bit cold. Let's see if I can warm this up a fraction, just while we're waiting. Getting similar apples, maybe a little bit of peach. I'm certainly not getting inundated by oak character. When one says there's been some oak treatment, it is only a portion of it. I'm certainly not getting a lot there. Maybe a sense of creaminess coming through, which is interesting. Anyway, let's try it. Wow, that's very good. Straight away on the front of the palate, I get the crisp apple thing. There's some floral things happening there as well. Some white flowers. But there is definitely that mouthfeel that's different through the mid and the back palate. Though, oak, you know, there's certainly no oak monster coming in there. The oak is very subtle, so I'm assuming it's older oak that has seen this wine. And there is a definite. Actually, I'm getting some really interesting creamy aftertaste on the side of the palate, side of the mouth. Yeah, it's interesting. The apples, there's a little bit of peach, a bit of tropical fruit in there, sort of leading up to the mid palate. The mid palate is more this creaminess and interesting texture compared to the, particularly compared to the first one, the K1, and a really interesting finish to that mouthfeel right at the back of the palate. And I think that's where just a little bit of oak character is coming through. Again, this quite complex, and I'm getting certainly getting all those flavours mixed up together in the palate after I've finished it. There has been a lot of talk about this variety, and based on this, I think there should be some more talk about this variety. This is sensational. I'm going to go back and try the first one again. Definite apple there. Not much left in this one. More subtle. Getting some more of those white flowers, so that floral. So again, that's why I think it might be related to Riesling. And if I'm not, it's good wine anyway. So just trying to warm it up a little bit. Definitely very different noses. So this is the K1. Very bright, very flavoursome. The flavour goes right through the palate. Acid's not harsh, but there's plenty of acid there. Lots of white peach, apples, florals. And this one, similar wine at the beginning, but after that just totally different. That creaminess, there's a bit of texture to this wine, extra complexity, coating the mouth a bit more, whereas the other one's probably stripping the mouth with the acid, but not in a bad way. Two lovely wines. I know people are going to say, well, Shane, what do you think is the best wine? I actually think they're both very, very good. As you know, I don't score wines, and I'm not going to score these, but I think it will come down to what you're eating. So, you know, the K1, I'm thinking fresh seafood, you know, very clean flavours with the fresh seafood, and this would go perfectly, as would a Riesling, say. And the handcrafted, with that little bit of extra complexity, maybe something in a creamy sauce, so maybe the seafood in a cream sauce, or a you know, a pasta, creamy pasta would certainly go well. So yeah, not a cop out for me. Just two different wines, two very different wines from the same grape variety from the same vineyard, treated differently, come out really, really well, and depending on the situation, would go down a treat. So look, that's all we have time for Learning Grape TV today. Hope you've enjoyed it. I've had a ball, absolutely a ball, bringing these new wines to me and sharing them with you. And I'd have to say well done to the people from the Pertaringa K1 handcrafted by Geoff group, all owned by Geoff Hardy. And yeah, done very, very well. So congratulations, guys. I think well deserved as winemaker of the year from Wine State magazine, and I think you've kicked another couple of goals. Anyway, that's all I have time today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye.